Salute to all chess players. Hope you are doing well. In this video, we are going to do a commentary on the game between Jorden Van Foreest against Garry Kasparov in the Croatia Blitz 2021 in Zagreb. This is the first day of the Blitz, and Kasparov did perfectly in the first day. He actually drew a game and lost 8 other games, so he's under the bottom of the table, and this is his first game in the first round. At the start of the tournament, the Van Foreest's rating is 2,688, and Kasparov's old rating is 2,812, same as 2005 when he stopped playing professional chess. And Kasparov is playing black. Alright. Van Foreest started with e4, and after c5, Kasparov's favorite Sicilian, we had knight f3, d6, d4, c takes d4, knight takes d4, knight f6, knight c3, and a6, which is the knight variation, the favorite of the Garry Kasparov. Before we proceed, I should mention that the time control for the game is it's a blitz game, and it's 5 minutes plus 2 seconds for every move that the players make. So after a6, white played bishop g5, and after e6, f4, we have queen c7, which is actually one of the favorites of the Boris Gelfand, the previous World Chess Championship candidate. Here white played bishop takes f6, and after g takes f6, we have queen f3 on the board. Here I think it's worth mentioning that in this position queen c5 is not a very good move, because after queen c5 black actually gained the equality that is looking for. So after queen f3, Kasparov played b5, and after a3, which is trying to stop the b4, Kasparov played knight c6, which is not the best move in the position, but anyway he played it. And after taking on c6, taking on e6, we have f5 on the board. So by this move actually we are transferring into the Rouser system. Now the standard plan for black is to play h5, bishop h6, queen to c5, and king to e7. This is very typical system, very typical setup for the white, for the black, and it's played in the Rouser system many times. And here is the first, I can say, stroke of Kasparov, because here he thought for 1 minute and 42 seconds to play queen to c5. This is the ideal square for the queen. This is because first of all, it controls many dark squares. It can eventually go to the e5. It has better control on the dark squares, because as you can see, white has no dark square bishop. But spending such a time in the blitz, I don't think that would be a great idea. There is another possibility here, that after f5, black actually can play bishop e7, which is slightly dangerous, because white can easily put a rook on a file and exert pressure on the f6 square. But in this position, after f5, Kasparov played queen c5, which is a normal move, and here we have bishop e2, and then Kasparov played rook to a7. This was previously played by Tukmakov, and by this move and previous one as well, black is actually inviting white to play pawn takes e6, and with whatever piece that black takes back, the f6 pawn would be hanging. The difference between this position and the previous one is that now that rook is on the a7 square, black can actually play bishop g7 when the f6 pawn is dropped. So this is the difference. But here Van Foreest played castle queenside, uh, after 35 seconds. And here Kasparov played the new move queen to e5, which is directed to the aim of the black in this position. Black is trying to control the black dark squares. And here Van Foreest played rook h2 f1. Obviously the pawn is hanging, but it's not wise to take on h2. Probably king b1 was a better move, but the move that Van Foreest selected in this position was rook to f1, which is equally good. And here Kasparov played rook to c7. Now, the threat in this position is to sacrifice a rook on c3, and after playing d5, taking the a3 pawn with a check. This is basically the plan. So that's why Van Foreest played king to b1. And here black has to decide, is it possible to go bishop e7 and castle kingside or no? Which was not the move that Kasparov played in this position. He played h5 after 36 seconds. And by reaching this position, Kasparov was already in a tough situation, because he had only 63 seconds left. He was starting to shake his head, and he was not quite happy with the position. So Van Foreest played pawn to h4, which is directed to fix this h5 weakness. And after bishop e7 by Garry Kasparov, he played Van Foreest white here played queen to e3. There's a possibility here that black is probably trying to obtain, which is playing rook to g7, rook to g8, excuse me, and exerting pressure on down the g file. But after queen g3, Kasparov returned the queen to the c5, which is not a very good move here. The better move here was to play rook to c5, trying to cut off the diagonal, and then try to play the normal rouser position in this situation. But he played queen to c5. There was another option as well, which was bishop d7 here. Excuse me, bishop d7. Which neither was played by Kasparov, and after queen e3, queen c5, queen to g3 was played, and here the position is clearly better for white. White is trying to penetrate via g7 in this position. That's why Kasparov played king to f8, and then Van Foreest played f takes e6, and by playing f takes e6, white is actually introducing another threat, which is rook to d5. F takes e6, f takes e6, queen to g6, queen to e5 again, and here Van Foreest played rook to d3, trying to move his rook to the g3 and creating threats on the king side. And here there are two possibilities regarding defending of the g7. The first one is to play rook to g8, which after queen h6, black can play king to e8, and after bishop takes h5, king to d8. Yes, white has won a pawn, but there are still chances for white. Or after rook to g8, white can play queen takes h5 directly and trying to exchange the queen, and this endgame is drawish. But instead of defending with the rook to g8 in this position by Kasparov here played bishop to d8, trying to defend with the rook on c7, and here basically white is winning, because after rook to g3, which was played in the game, white is introducing rook to g5 threat, and after rook to f7, rook to g5 was played, the plan was executed. Kasparov played queen to d4, f5 was possible, but Kasparov played queen to d4, and after bishop takes h5, Kasparov actually resigned the game. And by this move, the cascades of Kasparov's losses started. At the end of the game, at the end of the first day, Kasparov only managed to draw one game, which was against Alexander Grishuk. And about the standings, Vachier Legrov was first by 6.5 out of 9 games. Nepomniachtchi was on the second place with 6 points out of 9, and Anishkiri is on the third place with 5.5. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please share, like, comment, and subscribe, and wait for my next videos. Thank you very much.